Hello and welcome to Oakentown. This is our third video so far in the series, and before we actually get into the game, I want to take a minute or two to look at the migrants that came at the very end of the last session. So we have 4 new migrants: Ed Bigley Jr., Draconia, Joan, and Erst. Erst is a child, and I think I'm going to name all the children Erst until they develop more personality or become useful in some capacity. So this is kind of interesting to me. We have 2 kind of red flags. If we look at Draconia, he does not particularly offer us much in terms of interesting. He's a great gem. Actually, that's kind of a lie. All 3 of these guys have high level skills. We see Joan is a great carpenter, but she's also a great intimidator, a great conversationalist, and a competent hammerman, along with some other high skills. Draconia here is a great gem cutter, great gem setter, great judge of intent, and an expert intimidator and conversationalist. And Ed is a great engraver, a great judge of intent, and also has some really high social skills. And I gotta be honest, that's a little worrying for me. So I'm gonna look over at their military and see, see Ed Bigley Jr., he's got high strength, a lot of really high abilities. I'm just flipping through here to see, and we can see their social skills of these guys are incredibly higher than anyone else, kind of across the board. So the reason that worries me is I did some looking into the Legends mode of the game, into the history of our Dwarven civilization. So our civilization is called, sorry, I always forget what this is. Civilization C. I don't use it very often. The competitive whips. So I looked into the history of the competitive whips, and if we look closely, our king is currently a goblin miner, Thikuk Uzermal, which is already kind of weird. So I think we need to have one of our goals to be to replace the king. And we see there's some other goblins mixed in here. But when I looked even deeper at the history of the competitive whips, it turns out that many of the leaders of the civilization going back over the years are from the same family of vampires, and they kind of passed down the reins from one to the other, and it wasn't until recently when the vampire leaders of the civilization were the king that was the vampire, I believe, was killed in a goblin siege, and at that point, they elected a new king, which is Thikuk Uzermal. But there's still a lot of vampires hiding throughout the civilization. I've never actually seen this many in the royalty. A lot of these people. So we want to be careful, because I think there's a good chance we're going to get at least 2 or 3 of them. So I just want to make sure we keep an eye on these dwarfs, because I'd really rather not have one of my original 7 get eaten this early on in the game. The other interesting thing to note from our Legends mode is that there's a goblin tower, a goblin fort located right near us on our world map, and if we look at that, the leader of that, it's actually the capital of the goblin civilization, and there's a demon king there, and they can come and attack us, so that is definitely a reason to be worried. The good news is that the Necromancer Tower did not appear to be particularly powerful. Although one Necromancer can really wreck us, that's at least beneficial. Alright, so I'm going to... We have a stone detailer. You're a carpenter. Okay. So we're going to get to work on our carpentry. We're going to get some really nice stuff going for that. And gems as well. But before we do that, I had a request to kind of explain a few things about what I'm doing that maybe were not making sense to everyone, or people were confused about. So let's go, maybe this level works. So what we see here is that I have my main hallway on this level is double wide, meaning it's actually 3 squares down, and the same is going to be true over here, for instance. It's 3 squares wide, so they're actually bigger than they minimum. You know, you could do them in 1. I've done them in 3. And the reason for this down here too is that I want to make sure that the dwarfs walking through here don't bump into each other as the fortress gets bigger. So if any dwarves need to go over to the stockpile, they'll be able to do so and use multiple doors without running into each other physically, which can happen if your fortress gets too crowded. The other question I had was about these 5x5 stockpiles, and the reason for that are the 5x5 workshop rooms. Because all the workshops are 3x3, so someone basically asked, why did you make them this way? And the reason is that I can put the stockpile directly in the room, so that whoever is working in there is able to immediately grab what they need and come back to the stockpile. They don't need to go all the way to the other floor and come back. So it basically makes them a little quicker in their work. As we get to our metal industry, where there's multiple stockpiles required, I actually stack that on top of each other vertically, and then we'll show how to do that in a little bit. So I think that answers the main questions. This room I kind of messed up. I'm going to leave it for now, but I think I'm going to just redo this as a new dining room in a little bit, because I don't really like it. The other thing I wanted to explain, because I didn't, if we look now, we can see that some cave moss, a hazel tree, more cave moss, cave wheat. So essentially, some underground plants are now starting to grow on the soil layers we've gotten. And the reason for that is that we broke into the cavern. So once we broke into the cavern, that means that basically plants will start growing in the fortress. So I haven't actually looked around here, and I'm just going to take a second to glance around the cavern and see. Is that water? That's actually really useful to see. What are you? You're a flying thing of some sort. A cave swallow. Okay. That shouldn't be a huge deal. There are some webs in there. What are you, my friend? A frog? Cat popper. Okay, that's not too dangerous. We just want to be a little bit aware of what's what. And then I'm going to mark this as we get a little further up, because if I were to channel right through this square, I would get a moat. And I don't need that right now, but it's useful to know, because once we get our hospital up and running, it could be nice. So now that this area has plants growing in it, I can move my llamas and stuff down there. But let's shape it so it's the whole room. So we're going to hit the zone, that's I, and then we're going to size the zone, and then N for pasture, Shift N to add animals, and then we have to go, and I'm going to slaughter those, some of those guys in a second. B, Shift N for nest box. We don't have enough yet. Eventually we're going to fill the turkeys in here. So now we should start to see those guys come down. Yeah, excellent. And now I want to build another carpenter's workshop, because I have that second really good carpenter I just got, Joan, I believe. And we want to build a jeweler's workshop. Sorry, let me make sure I built the right one. I think I hit the wrong thing. That's a leather work. That's not what I want. I want BWJ for jewelers. And then, I think that's going to be it for now. Then I'm also going to set that stone detailer to do these rooms up. So, a smooth stone, because we have a master stone detailer. So we're just going to smooth that room, all of that up. And then we need to dig out some more bedrooms. So we're going to go the other side now, actually. Two, three. 1, 2, 3. second. No, that doesn't look right. And I just build my bedrooms like this so that I only use, it uses less doors this way. But that's by no means like a rule of thumb. You can make your bedrooms however you want. And like I said, I probably will switch to dormitories eventually. But for now, we don't have enough dwarfs to necessitate that. Alright, so I want to make some more crafts. So we want to have stuff to sell. And we're going to put those nest boxes up. It's important, by the way, that I put the farms and the animals up on this layer, because it's the only... that's good, I think, actually. And then we also want to make this into a zone, into a pin. And N, Shift N. And this is for the turkeys. Alright. Very good. So now that stuff's going to be brought down. Oh, I wanted to check one more thing on those 3 new dwarves. So that's Joan, Ed Beagley, and Jacothia. So we're going to go to Joan and hit Z. And then we're going to go to Status and Enter. And we're going to see what it says about... She needs alcohol. Okay. So I don't see anything here. Sometimes after it says she needs alcohol, there's another sentence. It's a vampire. So I don't see that for her. That's kind of one of the ways you can tell. Maybe we just got lucky. Nope, I don't see it there either. Jacoyathan, who's our... Oh, why is he fishing? That's gonna go away. We don't want to have any fishing. And I can explain that a little bit in a second, but essentially, if you're a fisherman, or a fisherwoman in this case, yeah, I don't see that on her either. If you're a fisherwoman, the undead can come, the necromancer can come and revive and bring the dead fish pieces back to life, and they are very difficult to kill. Alright, so now that the turkeys are in the nest box, let's just make sure we have all of them. We should have a turkey hen, a turkey hen, a turkey gobbler. Turkey hen, is that it, right? Excellent. So now I need to plug this room up. There's a glitch now in the game that means that your if I put a door here, which I could do, and then lock it so that the animals can't come out, they'll actually stand there trying to open it over and over, and it creates a basically a giant CPU cycle that we don't need. So if I do it this way, then they'll just be locked in. The other reason you want to make sure that they're locked up is that you see how they've claimed these nest boxes. Some of these will say it. Let's look. This one's claimed by the turkey hen, so that means that she's going to lay her eggs there, and once she lays her eggs, the dwarves will automatically come and claim them for cooking, which means they won't hatch into chicks. So I want one round to hatch into chicks before I start taking the turkeys out, basically. I want them to hatch before we get the eggs out the first time, and then I'll open the door and kind of let it be a little more free. Alright, the other thing I wanted to build up here was the butcher shops. I think we're going to do that on this side. And these are going to be smaller. Actually, I can even do it like this, I think. Because they don't need to be any bigger than this. The tanning shop and the butcher shop don't require any supplies. Now, I said that, and now I've changed my mind. I'm actually going to do it like this. So we're going to do a leather workshop, and then off of that, I will put there we go. And this is just because we're going to put the butcher here, the tanner here, and the leather workshop here. And that way the dwarfs who are butchering the animals will be over here doing that work, so that they don't get, so that if the animal rots for some reason before we get it finished, we will be able to, sorry, that did not make any sense. So that we will be able to lock up the, like basically rotten meat if we need to, so it won't get into the main fortress. So the leather goes here, and the tanner goes here. Great. Now we have all these set up, so we're going to start cutting some gems. And I basically go through each gem and hit A, C, R, so that now they're all going to be set to be cut. And the R just means repeat, so we'll do it until all those gems are gone. Now I need more bedrooms, more beds, and we need more, just checking the time, and we need more cabinets. Why are you making cabinet F? Oh, I was hitting the wrong button. I also want some more doors. And we'll make a few more mechanisms. So that basically we get all our dwarves working now, who are able to. Good, now we see the walls are getting smoothed out, so they're starting to look more like solid, as opposed to before when they were kind of jinky. And now down there on the bottom it says he made a masterwork Grinko bed, and that's a great sign. That basically means that we're starting to get higher quality items because our dwarfs are, because we're using that higher level carpenter, so that will bring up the quality of the work we're doing. It's important to always put doors on bedrooms and in your workshops, because if a dwarf gets into a bad mood when they claim a workshop, we want to make sure that they aren't able to destroy the fort when they're raging. It helps prevent tantrum spirals. So we're just going to let it run for a while. Yeah. I think that's a good plan. We're picking up our pots, and we can see here, I think, if we come in here, there's snails in there. I think the turkeys will eat those. Well, they'll lay their eggs. The animals here should be eating. I shouldn't see you guys hungry. We're gonna slaughter those two in a minute, but where's my llamas at? Oh, they're all together. Alright, so we now have, we need tanning. So we're just going to pause the game here. Actually, we can leave it running, but we'll go over to Dwarf Therapist. We're going to go to roles, because we need our tanner, and we're going to see who is a good tanner. So you are. There we go, we can make 4 tanners. And just commit that. And now when we come back here, we should be able to hit space, and we should see someone will come and build that room. Pretty soon, at least. So I'm just putting the doors in place. I'll put the cabinets in. One thing I do want to be careful about now that I have these higher level dwarves in the fort is that as they're going to produce more valuable goods. And that means that we're going to be more and more likely to be attacked. And I don't know if I've said this yet, but I don't use I don't use any traps in my fort. Because I think that they're a little bit broken. I don't have a problem with people use them. I just don't normally do it myself. So, because of that, we're going to need to get our military going pretty soon. Maybe not at this second, but in the next, like, few minutes. I think that's going to be a vital thing to do. Alright. So we're just going to let them run for a little bit. I also want to get some tables built. Like 4 of them is good, and some more chairs. I'm going to make the chairs out of stone for now. And you are going to be back into making me bins. I want 1 cage, some barrels, and some bins, which is N. Now I think it's... yeah, I would say it's about time to work on the still, which I'm going to put right here. So that we can brew some drinks. And now, in order to brew, we need to have barrels, and we need to have food. So it's only going to let us brew so many times before it gets mad at me. But we should be able to do a few. Alright, let's come up to this room that I don't like, because I messed it up. I'm going to take this stuff apart, so I can move it. And we're just basically going to start over. Sorry, I just don't like to have that furniture right next to the door. It looks kind of sloppy to me, so. So this will be our meeting hall. There we go. Alright. Sorry, just reconstructing the room. So I didn't like the way it was looking before. Now we're cranking out masterwork barrels, masterwork chairs, masterwork thrones. Okay. Good. We can see our value is starting to go up a little bit, and most of it is going to be in architecture and furniture soon, because she's a masterwork carpenter. And we want to do a food stockpile in this room. They're bringing the food in. Oh, and I wanted to come up here and just make sure that the map... Alright, that's plenty of bins. Okay. Now I will construct just a few coffins. We just want to try to be ahead of whatever could happen to come our way. And then we will make some more rock crafts. And then I want her to build some chests, so that's H. Oh, and let's do these stockpiles. So this one here should be wood. This one here should be gems. This one here doesn't matter. That is, what is that? The Craft Workshop. So this one's going to be rocks, stones, but we're going to have to set that up a little more custom than that because I don't want any stone in there. So we just want not only regular stones. Now I want to do some mining, I think. So we're going to come down. Is that the marble layer here? Yeah, great. So this, I think, is going to be our first mining layer, and we're going to shoot a vein. Like that. That's going to be our kind of our main mining vein. And then after that's built, we will basically go like this. So that we can begin to mine. And so now at this point, since we have a few more dwarfs, I'm going to go over to Therapist. I'm going to take my 2 miners, because I'm going to pretty much have them mining full-time for a while now. And these 2 guys, I'm going to turn off a lot of their hauling. So no more animal hauling, no more food hauling, furniture, items, refuse, stone. I need to set up that. There. So now they're basically going to be full-time miners. Meaning they won't be allowed to do anything else. Now they go mining away. Excellent. You are out of job. That's really no good. Alright, so now all that's been added. You are a mechanics workshop, meaning you also need stones. So we want to set those settings once again. There we go. And Joan, here, I think I'm going to just have her now construct me a few wheelbarrows. So I didn't bring one, but they're really easy to make. Now the other thing I might do, yeah, I think so, is we are going to, so I'm just thinking. I want to shortly start on the tavern area. We could do over here. Yeah, I think that's not a bad idea. We'll do this whole thing out of ginkgo wood. So now I should have a few people in a minute come up. do this, but so this marble here can be used to make steel. So I want to add some more tasks here because I thought we're going to go through one more round of gem cutting like that and see. I'm going to check out our stocks. Okay, so we need a little more food. That's going to be important to get going in a second. Okay, so we've struck galena, which is an ore of silver. And this is basically what I'm doing here, so I'm trying to figure out where are the veins. So there's a galena vein through here, then I'm going to cut that area out. And sometimes when I get gems like this, I'll just go over and select them. So they help mine those out. And you can actually, with Dwarf Hack, hit A to turn on auto mining. So now he'll just follow the gems. So those are clear garnets. There we go. Now our tavern area is being built. So now I'm going to put the floor on it. We'll make this flooring out of walnut and pecan. I did a fort earlier, maybe earlier this year, where everything in it was made out of the entire fort was made out of marble, basically, which was kind of a waste, but I didn't have any iron ore, so I had to do everything out of marble. But we're going to do mostly wood for now, because we have so much of it, and it will piss off the elves when they come to visit. Speaking of which, we should be nearing time to get our first dwarven caravan. This video's been going for a little while, but I think I'm going to let it go for a few more minutes, until we get this area at least closed in. Oh, and I can also, B, C, F. Now that those animals aren't there, I was kind of waiting to do this until, those animals were gone, but now I can totally floor in this area too. We'll do this out of sand pear. Essentially I'm just trying to stop the plants from growing inside. We're gonna have to take that rope away, because it won't let us build. We've struck more galena. There's a lot of silver ore down there. That's excellent, because warhammers are going to be our weapon of choice against the undead. Right, we are chugging away down here. And I actually want to BCU for upstairs. I'm going to put that right here, and we're going to actually make X for up down stair right there. That'll just speed up the pathing that can do. But I'm also going to make this a multi-level tavern with a like dining area here, dancing floor, and bedrooms, I think. Let's see, did that get removed yet? No, it's still waiting. That's also going to prevent anything from growing. Alright, autumn has come. We are saving, and we'll probably stop the video here, and then we'll wait for the traders to arrive in a little bit. Thanks for watching. I'm probably going to run a little bit at this point, just finish up these construction projects before the next video. Thanks everyone for watching. I will appreciate every view, and if you have the willingness and you want to submit some names, please do, because we're going to be getting a lot more dwarfs. Alright, thanks, bye.